Hello everyone, Pale Blue Thoughts is back. As I had mentioned in my post a few days ago, I was holidaying in Kashmir, so it was tough for me to get the time to make videos. When you're enjoying at the paradise on earth, science can take a backseat, right? And to answer some of the questions that my lovely subscribers posed, no, I didn't find an Yeti footprint nor UFOs, although I knew I wouldn't, even if I searched for it. Having said this, I would highly recommend you to visit this lovely part of our country at least once in your life. This was my second visit to Kashmir and I don't mind going there again. It's simply an amazing destination, out of this world sights, with amazing food and even more amazing people. You may get in touch with me in case you need a genuine travel agent who can show you around. Anyways, let's move on to today's topic. Today we will discuss something that is quite light in nature. It's a question about ourselves and our body. So we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, but only 1 mouth. But why? How can you explain this using evolution? Welcome back to Pale Blue Thoughts, the channel which debunks pseudoscience and promotes scientific temper. There is a definite evolutionary advantage for having 2 of the same sense organs, as it can help in many ways for animals to survive. The fact that so many animals share the same number of the same features means that over the millions of years of development, these features must have been useful enough to help the animals survive and reproduce, as that is how features are passed on from generation to generation. Let's look at why we have 2 eyes first. For one thing, the eyes are set apart at a distance of around 5 centimeters. So each eyes see every object at a slightly different angle. To test this, align a finger against a faraway tree or a building and look at it using one eye. Then close that eye and look at it using the other eye. You can see that the finger has jumped from its initial location. In reality, the finger hasn't moved, but the angle of vision has changed. This is called parallax. Try something closer, like your finger over your mobile, and you won't perceive so much of a difference. Your brain is able to perceive depth because of this difference in angles. You're able to understand that this background is at a greater depth than I am because your brain can perceive depth. This means that the 2 eyes work together to help determine how far away things are. But there is a limit to its ability. As the distance increases, the brain loses the ability to determine the depth. That is why you're not able to perceive whether the sun or the moon is at a greater distance from us. Could you survive with only 1 eye? Of course. However, your perception of depth will be impacted by not having a second eye to measure distance. Next comes the ears. After sight, hearing is our next most used sense that we have to help navigate the world. Our sense of hearing obviously comes from our ears. The latest scientific research shows that our ears actually evolved from fish gills millions of years ago. It is also discovered that hearing in animals developed before animals started living on land. Over time, the double ears that we know developed, and 2 ears provide a greater ability to determine the direction sounds are coming from. Just like parallax, the brain uses the phase difference of the sound waves to determine which direction the sound is coming from. If you closed your eyes and kept shifting your mobile to your left and right, you would still be able to understand where the sound is coming from. Another interesting aspect of sensing sound is related to the frequency and pitch of the sound. The higher the frequency, the more difficult it is for our ears to perceive where the sound is coming from. Have you heard crickets chirping in the night? Are you able to determine where the crickets are sitting by listening to their sounds? It's almost impossible. Since the sound produced by the cricket is of a high frequency, your brain would not be able to perceive the difference in frequencies. In the same manner, if you're standing outside on the road and you hear a car moving in front of you playing loud music, you would invariably hear only the bassy drum beats of the music. Ever wondered why? That is because the bass has a larger wavelength than treble. So bass sounds will diffract or bend around the corner more efficiently than the more directional, shorter wavelength sounds of higher pitch sounds. Again, your brain fails to make the distinction. I had a friend named Arun during my college days who had a car with no stereo. So to impress people, he used to make the doom 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 noise at traffic junctions just to impress people. Of course, He was very good at mimicking the exact sound of the bass drums, so a lot of people were fooled. Could you survive with only one functioning ear? Of course. However, your ability to determine the direction of sounds will be more difficult. If someone called out your name, you would not be able to understand which direction the sound is coming from. In olden times, the ability to know where the sound came from would have helped our ancestors survive predators or to better hunt their prey. Now coming to noses, most animals have just one nose, but that one nose is divided into two nostrils that act quite independently. The way the nose has developed, it is really like we have two noses packaged into one structure. The nose serves two functions. The most important is obviously to take in oxygen and send it to your lungs. Chemical reactions in your body use oxygen to process food into energy. The second function of the nose is to detect odors, that is, to smell things. Receptors in our nostrils detect tiny particles that leave the source of the smell to detect recognizable odors. Some particles can be detected very easily by our receptors. However, other particles take more time to process. To solve this problem, your nose has one nostril that will be dominant for the main purpose of taking air to the lungs. The other nostril will fill its veins with more blood in order to constrict or shrink the size of the opening. The smaller opening will take in air more slowly, which allows the receptors more time to process the odor particles. What is interesting is that your body will randomly switch which nostril is dominant several times in a day. Why the body does not have a permanent dominant nostril is still a mystery. It is also a mystery as to how and when the body decides to switch nostrils. This might help you understand why your ability to smell decreases when one of your nostrils is blocked due to a cold. Your body needs oxygen more than the ability to smell, so the other nostril will concentrate on fast air intake and you will lose your ability to smell. Do we really want humans to have more than one mouth? It seems like one mouth is more than enough. But seriously, the main purpose of the mouth is to eat things to provide energy to all of your bodily functions. Because just about everything has no more than one mouth, there must not have been an evolutionary advantage to having a second mouth. Evolution always found ways to optimize the energy spends of each organ. We eat for only a small portion of the day, so there is no survival need for a second way to intake food. Husbands all over the world love evolution for not providing more than one mouth. Pardon the jokes, all wives out there. Anyways, understanding why we have certain features helps us to understand the very long process of slow change over time or evolution that helped us make this incredible body. Hope you liked today's mini episode. I shall be back soon with my regular science content. Until then, it's bye-bye from Pale Blue Thoughts.